was a kid, I used to dream what it would be like to live somewhere far away from Hell's Kitchen. But I realized the city was a part of me. It was in my blood. And I would do anything to make it a better place.
Good and evil. Sometimes the difference between the two is a sharp line. Sometimes it's a blur. Sometimes we have to do things outside of the law.
We're gonna make a difference. I know it doesn't feel like it sometimes, but we are.
You're blind, but you see so much.
I hear things.
You know what they call stuff like that? Gifts. I'm gonna train you. Use it.
There are other ways to see.
Each step I left behind.
I don't see the city anymore.
Each breath you take is mine.
There's only dark corners.
I'll keep you safe, Karen. I have to be the man this city needs.
What are you gonna do?
Whatever it takes.
We fight every night for something. When the sun sets, we're both the same.
You and I have a lot in common.
We're nothing alike.
We can't go back for nothing. Take what you need, say your goodbye.
Another man's evil does not make you good.
I respect your conviction. The lone man thinks he can make a difference.
This darkness is the light.
I'm just trying to make my city a better place.
Maybe if he had an iron suit or a magic hammer, that would explain why you keep getting your asses handed to you.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and as you can see, they just posted a new Daredevil trailer, mostly focusing on the Kingpin character. Since I've already done a breakdown of the Man with No Fear in the comics, the storyline they're adapting for the TV show, I'm just going to do an explainer for the Kingpin's character and his history in the comics. There was also some new photos of David Tennant visiting the Marvel offices that are pretty cool that I'll explain a little bit. He's playing Kilgore in the Jessica Jones series. I know everyone's really happy to see David Tennant join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And yes, Daredevil, all these Netflix shows, for those that are asking, they're part of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but don't expect a lot of crossovers with movie characters. They're mostly keeping it self-contained to the other Netflix series, so the characters that cross over will be on those other Netflix shows like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and then the Defenders. Captain America Civil War is a pretty likely candidate for crossovers though. So Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin of Crime, most of you probably know him from some of the cartoons or maybe from the comics. I think after Frank Miller started writing the comic book in the 1980s, he really became more of a Daredevil character, and especially now after this Daredevil series, that's probably how most people are going to think about him. He was created by Stan Lee and John Romita Sr. in 1967. His first issue was Amazing Spider-Man number 50. Stan Lee said he wanted a character that treated crime like it was only a business. He treats crime like Tony Stark treats tech manufacturing, which is funny because there was actually a time in the comics when Kingpin and Tony Stark owned a company together. It was during a comic series called Damage Control. He spent most of his early run in the Spider-Man comics, but then he transitioned to Daredevil, and he also became a big Punisher villain. Originally, he started out as, more of a comical mob type character. When Frank Miller took over in the early 1980s, he got super dark. I mean, Frank Miller, he makes everybody dark. I know I said they adapted Frank Miller's Man Without Fear comic for the TV series, but he started writing Daredevil way before that in the 1980s. Man Without Fear didn't come till the early 90s. The really cool thing is if you want to dive deep into Daredevil comics, especially Frank Miller's run, like his 10 or so years on Daredevil, you can read it all for free on Marvel Unlimited. Wilson Fisk started out as this overweight child who kind of got sidelined just because he was a bit of an outcast, like a lot of Marvel villains. So he got used to acting through other people. That's what kind of started him on the path to becoming a crime boss. He committed his first murder by age 12, educated himself in politics and economics to PhD level, so he's super smart, self-taught, and learned to become a sumo warrior. That's why he still looks crazy fat, but he's super strong. It's all muscle. It just looks like he's fat. He didn't get the name Kingpin till he was a teenager, and he became a mob boss over time. Like, he slowly took over other mob bosses' territories till he became the biggest crime boss in New York City. So as you can see from Robert Downey Jr. licking his face, Vincent D'Onofrio going to be playing Kingpin on the Daredevil Netflix series. I'm really excited about this. Vincent D'Onofrio, he's an amazing method actor, so I'm interested to hear what he does to get into Wilson Fisk mindset. Full Metal Kingpin. One really awesome thing that the TV series is doing that's a little bit different from the comics is it's telling the origin story of the Kingpin. So even though it's called Daredevil, it's as much about the Kingpin as it is about the Daredevil character. That's one of the things I think TV does better than movies and comics. So like a lot of times in the comics, you'll see a retelling of an origin story. And inside of that, you'll have like a mini story that'll tell the origin of whatever the villain of the series is. TV, just by its nature, has a lot more time to tell each character's stories. So because they cast such a big actor and they have 13 hours to tell this story, they're telling the origin story of Kingpin as they tell the origin story of Daredevil. It just makes for a much more rewarding conclusion when we get to the finale. You know, he's not just a regular old villain that the hero has to defeat. He's a really deep character that's been driven to crime by circumstances in his life. As you saw in the trailer, that gallery that he's in is owned by his wife. I don't want to give any spoilers away if you haven't read the Man Without Fear storyline, but she is critical to his character development in this storyline. That'll play out across the TV series. So don't worry if you haven't read the comic, the TV series will make it pretty easy to follow. I think a really good contrast with the way Daredevil is doing its villain story is that it's like a 50-50 situation with hero story, villain story, as opposed to like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is like 75% about the heroes and 25% about the villains. Like you just don't spend as much time with certain characters, so it's not quite as rewarding when you get to the finale. So I think that if you really like villain stories, Daredevil is going to be a lot more fun. And they did say because it's Netflix, it's not network television, they're not watering it down for general audiences. It's going to be super dark and gritty. So if you like really dark crime drama with a lot of violence, you're going to have a lot of fun with this. If you do want to read some really cool Daredevil stories in the comics, then you have Marvel Unlimited. You can totally read them for free. So hint, get Marvel Unlimited. You should totally check out Man Without Fear just because that's the story they used for the TV series. Some other really good ones are Kingpin Must Die. That storyline started with issue number 170, early Frank Miller Daredevil, early 80s Daredevil. It's kind of like Kingpin in Japan, which kind of reminds me of Wolverine in Japan. Then there's Gang War, which is the storyline that happened right before that Kingpin Must Die. Also, early Frank Miller. Kingpin's wife, Vanessa, is a big part of it, obviously on the TV series because she's a big part of the story. It's really good because you get some extra context into what his relationship with his wife is like and how it informs his character. Fast forward to 2010, there was a run called Shadowland. It was a self-contained miniseries where Kingpin crossed over with Spider-Man, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Moon Knight. It's a great story, and it's also fun because a lot of those characters are going to be inside Defenders. Not Moon Knight though, not Moon Knight or Spider-Man. A lot of you guys have been asking, and I don't know if I made this clear or not, but yes, I am doing videos for Daredevil because they're dumping all of the episodes, all 13 on April 10th. What I'm probably gonna do is just post like a new video for Daredevil every couple days because it's like the same weekend that Game of Thrones is premiering. So I can't do like 13 videos in 2 days, but be sure to subscribe to get everything if you're just finding me for the first time, if you're brand new here. Here's a really big question for you guys. Which of the movie characters do you want to see on the TV series? You know, they haven't confirmed any cameos outside of the other Netflix characters. I think they're trying to keep it self-contained, but they shot most of Daredevil before they cast Luke Cage or Jessica Jones. So I'm not expecting a ton of cameos in season 1 of Daredevil. Season 2 is a whole different story though. Which Avenger do you want to see in Hell's Kitchen on Daredevil season 2? Because they're street level heroes, I'd mostly expect to see like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters or like the non-powered Avengers like Hawkeye or Black Widow. Hawkeye's the likely candidate. There's also rumors that he's going to be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this year. So really important date. April 10th is when all the episodes are going live, probably at midnight, so you should be able to marathon all 13 if you want to. Don't worry, I won't be posting all 13 of my videos right away, so you don't have to worry about spoilers or anything if you're not going to watch them like all right at once. While you guys wait for that stuff to drop, you can click here for all of my Daredevil videos, for my last trailer video, my explainer for the Man Without Fear storyline, and you can click here for my explainer video on Scarlet Witch in the comics and the movies and all my other Avengers videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. Now let's all do the thing.